was led to believe that we were going to have a fuller picture of the plan for the commons or for the pool. And I feel as though looking at the presentation, we did not really get a full, I guess, presentation here in terms of cost, especially with regards to the pool. Much of what was um, given were just estimates that were not with any sort of specifics. And I would like to, I guess, put forward to the board the idea of putting forth an actual motion to actually do an actual analysis on the actual costs for commons and for the pool. How much are HVACs? How much is furniture? How much is maintenance for either choice? Because what we have right now are just numbers, but they are not really specific, especially when we look at something like HVAC. We have HVAC numbers that are kind of guesses, but they're based on square footage. But when you're talking about an HVAC system, you're talking about a specific system that will service a certain area. So I know that we're talking about, oh, we have to go out to bid in August, but we've had so many months to do this and we haven't done this analysis. And for something that is so integral to our community, we should actually do the full analysis. And I'll just say second, I also agree that we should be looking at busing and providing as much busing to the community as possible. And so we should be doing full analyses and then presenting these to the community.
Thank you. Regarding that request, I will refer that to the Finance Committee for further discussion during their August committee meeting. Thank you. Board Member Malasmina, your hand was up and then it disappeared. So
it disappeared. You answered
thank you.
question. So
all right. Okay, thank you. Board Member Whitletter.
Mr. Board President, I'd like to recognize, I'd like to be recognized for purposes of making a motion. And I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution. As board members, we have been
Please read
trained
the
to
resolution. Oh, sorry. Please read the resolution.
Pardon?
Please go ahead and read the resolution.
Oh, thank you. As board members, we have been trained to uphold the code of ethics, and as a self-governing body, it is the expectation that we hold one another accountable for being faithful, honest, and for doing the right thing. When we unilaterally make decisions that are in contradiction to our code of ethics, we put the board at risk, our district at risk, and our students and faculty at risk. I believe that we have violated this code. I realize we are not perfect people. We will each make mistakes, but we are each responsible for our individual actions because it is a reflection of our Board of Education. I believe in this board and the work we can accomplish once we establish a foundation for success, which begins with the prioritization of our code of ethics, safety, and confidentiality. And with that, I'd like to read the resolution into record now.
Mr. Board President, I'm sorry, as far as the resolution that was discussed and just introduced, any resolutions do require first and second. Secondly, however, though, that is something that I would advise the board, similar to the same justification I gave before with respect to the transportation and the policy. If there is any concern or if there's any thought as to any suspected violations, that should be sent to our office. At a minimum, it should be notified, sent to the board president or the superintendent so that it can be forwarded to our office so that we can investigate on behalf of the Board of Education before any public comments are made with respect to any alleged violations. And so that would be my recommendation, is that the motion is not entertained and that this is instead sent to our office for investigation. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Febres.
Yeah,
Board Member Malasmina.
It was asked of the board president and never responded to.
I'm unaware of what you're referring to, but you can, according to Ms. Febres, we can.
I sent you an email questioning what we would be doing in this circumstance, and you never replied.
I may have missed it when I was on my little bit of break, so I apologize for that. As you all know, I'm very responsible with email, so I will go back and take a look at it. Thank you. Board Member Lamani.
I'm a little confused. I mean, I I heard someone mention that this was brought up in front of the board, but I do not remember hearing anything about the board, nor having. This is the first time I'm hearing of any resolution. I'm happy to entertain the motion and kind of go through all the discussion and all of that stuff. But this is the first time I've heard about it. So maybe I also missed it too.
Thank you for that, Board Member Valamani. And Board Members Massimino, if you can please just re-forward the email, so it'll be at the top of my inbox. I'll take a look at it. Thank you. Board Member Bergen.
Thank you. I think the issue is that we don't know what it is, but the advice of counsel is not to read it into the record, so we don't really know what you're referring to, but I support following counsel's advice and the council vetting it before it's read into the record.
Thank you. Board Member Telesford.
I'm sorry, Tom, I'm not speaking on this topic. Are we done with this topic, or I have
Well,
something new?
sorry, I would just like to
No.
finish,
Yeah, so go ahead.
legal counsel. Can
Okay,
you
Board
please-
Member Whitletter, you're recognized. Go ahead.
What happens if I read this resolution into record? Could you please explain that?
Sure. Just as all board members, have a responsibility to ensure that they are always reporting accurate information. Also keep in mind that the statements that you make have the potential to compromise the Board of Education by subjecting it to liability. So I am recommending that and you also have an obligation to refer all matters that may warrant an investigation for any suspected noncompliance to administration for investigation. So there are several steps and instances that should be taken first before any kind of public statements are made that can open up the district to liability and compromise the board.
Well, I would like to read it into record.
That's fine, as long as you acknowledge that I've counseled you, and now you are essentially taking your own private action.
Okay. Whereas on Monday, June 27th, 2022, during the South Orange Maplewood Board of Education meeting, Board Member Dr. Kwawi Telesford took independent action and presented confidential and non-public information that was not approved for public disclosure. Whereas Dr. Telesford shared confidential blueprints and floor plan information of Columbia High School with the public during his
I'm sorry, Mr. Board
Point of
President.
order,
and
I'd like
during
to
the
make a
public
motion to
session
move
of
to
a
adjourn
board
to
meeting.
executive session.
Point of
Whereas
order.
the
May I have a
South Orange
second?
Neighborhood School District
Because
is
you
providing
are
various
Point
Point of
order.
order,
for
point
the
of
city
order, point of order.
Columbia
I'd like to
High
make a
School.
motion
Point
to
of
adjourn
order.
to executive session. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mr.
I
Burnside,
motion
please call the
to
roll to adjourn to
amend
executive
that
session. Thank
motion.
you.
I motion to amend the motion, and I'd like to finish this resolution.
Point of order.
I've made a motion to
Point of
adjourn to
order.
executive session as the board
The-
president presiding over
Point of
this meeting.
order.
Mr. Burnside, and it has been seconded. Mr. Burnside, please call the roll on adjourning to executive session. Thank you.
Board Member Bergen? Thank you. Board President Joshua?
Yes.
Board Member Malaspina?
No.
Board Member Siders?
Yes.
Board Member Telesford?
Yes.
Board Member Vadlamani?
Yes.
Board Member Wingfield?
Yes.
Board Member Whitletter?
No.
Board Member Wright?
No.
Motion passes.
The board is now adjourning to closed session. For those on the screen, I will send a Google Meet link. Thank you. Yes, we'll be coming back.